explode.
The Hive and the Phoenix Army.
And the Phoenix Army, yeah.
Man, so we're going to be jumping into Game 1 draft here. I kind of missed it. What map did we get for map 1?
Expanding Rivers.
Expanding Rivers. So they chose Expanding Rivers. The home team here. ONIC is going to be on that blue side. Team Falcons over on the red. And yeah, I don't know. This is going to be interesting too. You know, it's great to see Ducky over here behind the boys from Team Falcons, and then you got Hayes, Coach Hayes for ONIC.
So now what I'm thinking is, did ONIC select Expanding Rivers because they want to be aggressive and take it to the face of Falcons so that they don't have to just play the slow poking type, or is it because they want to make sure that they can get and call for reinforcements from all across the map, wherever they may be? So we'll see when it comes into what they pick up. They ban out the Valentina and Eve, which actually forces out this Juicin ban from Falcons. So now there's only going to be two main mid laners we have to watch out for, Zetian and Pharsa, when it comes to long range. Because one of these teams might suddenly show up with a Kimmy in the center of the map and play for something like a Gata Kacha, Grok, or a High Loss to pair up with it. Or there's also a very fearsome combo in the Khalid Kimmy.
Yeah, there are a few other mid laners which also started to gradually appear even in like ONIC's recent games in the qualifiers, some of it being the Lily of Ray Super Prince even, and we are yet to see some of that. But because we're down to, let's say, again, the Pharsa and the Zetian, we do know how the common response is being the Zetian into the Pharsa, but
also have to acknowledge on the stage right now for Team Falcons is actually Coach Moody.
Oh.
On there, and Coach Fred. So of course,
Ducky is here though. We got to visit with him for a bit, and so he is in the building, in the nest. Now, first picks up for grabs here. Bit of a different banning phase too than what we've seen just in the previous series alone. Of course, the Fusion's not going to be picked up, but all right, what do they go first pick? There's so many options here. Do they go the Leomord? Do they go with the Valentina? Oh no, Valentina's banned.
Valentina's gone. Leomord Sora is actually an option now for the first pick for ONIC if they want to. So there are some teams that go for a surprise Kaleo first pick when there's so many options available, and they play safe, and they do go for the surprise Kaleo rush.
Yeah, and ONIC still has like that Harley if they want to go for a different kind of jungler. So maybe they're not really prioritizing the Leomord at this point, or depending on whatever Falcons decide to reveal. Okay, so Kyle, gotta get used to it.
I gotta get used to it too.
Kyle Flap is gonna go for the Baksha.
Okay, Baksha. Super Marco going with a classic pick too. This is, you know, one of his marquee heroes, a Claude.
The rough thing now is Falcons can just show up with a red 3 or red 4 Grok.
Yeah.
And then have to go up against a Grok Baksha. But then they might have to decide whether or not they want the Kimmy or Pharsa. They might pick up the mid laner first and then the Grok later on if it is still going to be available for them. But I don't think ONIC are going to be willing to give that. They might have to commit some bans in the second phase for that. They can go either with the carry gone. With all the dive, damage, Harith might be tough. They might have to settle in for a Moskov. There is a Sora as expected.
So, okay, there you go.
But they're still playing the YSS. Remember, still a flex. Could go gold, could go jungle.
I like that. And technically in this case, you know, having the Sora, having the YSS, two heroes now that are currently very flexible. Great options. There's the Pharsa. That's kind of what we expected to be picked up too. You've got your artillery that you need to go ahead and lay that ground cover for the Claw to be able to move, plus the Baksha is already great. So, and this is also a great pick for Haji to go ahead and use.
Yeah. With the Eve gone, let's see if they'll still commit bans on either the Zetian or the Kimmy. But if they end up banning both, that's insane if they're really just going to play Hack-a-Friends, considering that ONIC already banned out the Valentina and the Eve.
Yeah.
Red 4, you can actually slot in a lot of roamer options for Falcons. You can even surprise and put the Baksha in the roam. But again, with it being open, Grok, Hylos, Gatot are going to be great options for them. They are still respecting the poke style of ONIC by taking out the Harley.
Yep. So even if, let's say, or maybe they're also trying to force and limit the options of the Yi Sun Shin and where it could potentially go to. I mean, both of these technically should have been flex heroes, but they came at the same time.
Yeah.
So like, it's a bit more decided that the Sora is likely gonna go into the EXP. Or no.
I mean, it's flexible. Like there's still a way to kind of go around this because.
Let's hear from the crowd.
You see that Harley ban coming out, like you mentioned earlier on. They're going to be focusing on the XP options here for Flap, though. And I think, yeah, we've talked about this quite extensively about how just crucial XP lane is and has been for a while now. Flap being one of those players specifically that's capable of making plays, and he's one of the few people that will even pick a Terizla, for example. You know, so it's like Flap's hero pool is also what makes him such a strong XP laner to be able to go ahead and do that. But you can also say the same on the other side over here for ONIC for Kirk. But there's the last man, it's Leo Moore. This is kind of, this might put ONIC in a pinch a little bit in terms of what they actually decide to put in the jungle.
It's as if Falcons is forcing ONIC to play that Yi-Sun in the jungle, which is going to suck. Honestly, going up against the Farsa and Baksha, and then whatever roamer shows up here for Falcons. ONIC really need to commit a roamer ban here. It can't be an EXP. If the CC was okay, understandable. If ever they do want to put the Sora in the EXP lane, CC manages that okay. And everyone getting tethered by the curtain call actually would have been tough for them, considering that they are playing against a Claude and a Farsa. Ban out the roamer, ONIC. You're going to have to take out options.
Okay, for Ogwen, the likes of the Khalid are still there. They take out Marcel.
3, 2.
Yeah, understandable. I have to get used to Marcel existing.
Yeah, honestly, the Hilduck and Khalid are both actually still open for Falcon.
Yeah, the tough thing is, though, if they end up picking it up way too early, show the roamer right away, ONIC can swerve and still end up putting the Yi-Sun in the gold lane. There is also an option for the Sora to go gold. If ever they are okay with putting King Kong in the jungle and then just trying to play for defense, I think Falcons just needs to pick up their EXP laner now, but with how the language of the camera is going, it's roamer time. They pick up the Khalid.
Khalid picked up. This is where we find out, and that's why I was saying it's such a great flexible pick, the YSS and the Sora, because technically you can swerve it in multiple ways with this. So these next two picks will really tell us where they're going, depending on what their mid is going to be, and then to go against the Farsa. Traditionally, you see that Valentina picked up, but that was banned out, and then the Jushin's gone. So what are you left with?
Zetyan. Zetyan.
Kimmy, maybe?
Zetyan. The tough thing is that Farsa, the Kimmy's there. Kimmy, Kalea together might be okay with the trades. But then Khalid will just be able to heal through it, get away, while Farsa's also poking. Tough.
There you go.
Oh, Lilia, wow.
So that's something they did show in the previous qualifiers. Just didn't expect it to come through with the Zetyan still open.
Yeah. And the Guinevere.
Yeah, so this is like Guinevere jungle, and then the Yi-Sun gold. Okay, sorry.
So I think Falcons shouldn't consider something like a Lapu Lapu, because yes, it's good that you'll have the Lapu Lapu to just Bravest Fighter jump in, you force out things out of the Lilia, you'll take away her black shoes, or you might force reactions out of the YSS, take away the Traceless, but there's a lot of that picking up the Lapu Lapu alone just to force that out might not be enough, so they might need another tankier body. Unless they're okay with just aggression, they might even go for the surprise Benedetta, but then with a lot of mobility here, it might be tough. They still want to settle for the Lapu, okay. They still want to go for the let's just pop out resources, but this is going to be more of a utility game if the early game doesn't go well for Flap.
That's the second time he preferred something else, but they still went for the Lapu today.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys want to go and try to win 1,000 diamonds, super fans, you guys can scan this QR code, predict the match winner correctly, and you get a chance to win 1,000 MLBB diamonds. Don't forget to scan that QR. You guys can let us know too in the chat who you think has a better team composition for this game one between these two teams, ONIC Philippines and Team Falcons.
Whoa, 68 to 32% for the super fan predictions.
You know what? That is just
the super fam.
That's just the super fam. Yeah, that's just the super fans for the super fam, basically. Looking at this one more time, you can see this across the board. That lineup rating is going to favor Team Falcons just a bit, and it's just more of a well-rounded. I think when you look at the damage profile and what they're capable of doing from the early game all the way to a late game, the potential is there. Whereas if this is a quick game, one that ends quickly, it could be ONIC that's capable of doing that with this kind of lineup. But let's jump into the Land of Dawn, this game one of this best of three to round out week one of MPL Philippines Season 17.
I have to point out that so far, the history of the Claude versus YSS matchup did not really go that well for Claude so far. YSS has given Claude a lot of difficulty in the laning. Let's see if that'll be the continued trend. Ogun takes a lot in the mid alongside Brusco. And rough start!
Ouch.
Something you should be careful about when up against the Lilia. Kyle, he cannot get away from this too.
You said rough, now it's rougher.
Yeah, totally misplayed there by Falcons. ONIC just made that look so easy. I don't think they were expecting that much damage to come out of the Lilia early on. I think it's a little bit of a surprise for them, even though they might have gone up against it in the Asian Games qualifiers.
Yes.
Flap, let's see if we can get Kirk.
Okay.
Oh, good flick!
Oh no.
But that was a bait.
Yep, King
He's
Kong.
got flicker. Okay.
Puts it out.
That is a start though for ONIC. I mean, think about it. You're under 2 minutes, you're almost 1,000 gold up. But the kills too, going over to Super Prince and Brusco, are going to be very strong in terms of, you know, that trio mid being able to rotate with a bit of that advantage leading into the first turtle is something that Team Falcons might want to decide. Do we truly want to fight for the first objective, or would it potentially be better that we just kind of let things settle in and maybe let that one go? But I just don't think that's going to be Team Falcons.
Yeah.
Felt like it was a mismanagement of resources there by Ogren in the mid. Didn't make the most out of the Desert Tornado dashes. Might have mistimed his Quicksand Guard as well. Should not have happened. That was just a great capitalization errors by ONIC.
Yeah, I was expecting like the first skirmish to happen by the time the jungler rotates to the mid lane. A potential punish for Kyle, but speaking of, it's Ogren who they're actually trying to go for. Already down to half HP. Kyle going in. Brusco, will he get targeted here? Quicksand Guard already committed as well. Now it's a setup coming in from Kirk. Takes down Haji. Next is Kyle. Flap cannot escape this as well. 5-0 kill score favoring ONIC.
Yeah, Haji just walked into that alongside the other members of Falcons. Seems like a lot of disrespect a little bit by Falcons in terms of the main conditions for the fights. It's ONIC now in your face and in control, and they're making it look so damn easy. Great start for the Super Fam.
This is one of those things, again, why you're reminded why usually you see Sora kind of banned out. You know, once that level 4 was available for Kirk, he was able to go ahead and turn that team fight around by a great initiation and then a follow-through. And even the Guinevere, man, like we were talking about this in the draft before, where there's a reason why some teams will ban it out, because Guinevere's ability to jump in, spatial migration, Requiem, sets things up, and it's just another added layer of crowd control when you have a Kalea. Ogun could be in trouble here.
They're surrounded. That's the Tsunami's lab and the spatial migration. Raging Sandstorm committed, but the Violet Requiem makes it in time.
This is what I'm talking about. The crowd control options for ONIC's lineup are kind of crazy.
Yeah. Lineup rating looked really good for Falcons, but in terms of the overall execution, Ogren is just biting the dust time and time, or should I say biting the sand. ONIC.
I see what you did there.
Brusco's, I like how he just sees the Khalid every time. If he has a crowd control ability, he'll throw it. He's always together with Super Prince. The Ogren's not expecting the damage. Even if you heal through it, it just hurts. This is just good old Super Fam movements, and Falcons don't look like Falcons right now.
Yeah, right now they're dealing with Super Prince, feeling pretty confident off of this. Kyle, he's not, I would say he's not fallen too far behind, given the fact that he's died twice. He's trying to, this is one thing that Baksha can do, especially on expanding rivers, is farm around pretty well, but you just don't want to continue to get punished. I feel like if he dies again, then he's in danger territory here, because you can see, you know, there's a bit of a lead there for King Kong to go ahead and deal with, and he's going to continue to punish around the buffs, and that's why Team Falcons has to protect Kyle's space here.
Oh, talk about protect. The guy who's expected to protect gets taken down first. Heaven's Wrath once again from Kirk, picking up a double kill, and Haji. Oh no, another Wings by Wings just to fly to safety. Oh, he's not even safe.
Take out mid control and you will control the game. Falcons have zero answer for the Super Fam right now. It's 9-0. It's been a clinic by Brusco, Prince, and King Kong in the center of the map.
And that's a turtle secured there by King Kong. 2 turtles now in the hands of ONIC, 4K ahead. And for the majority of all this, Silvero has, there's a Tsunami Slam and a deleted Flap.
Flap, who had the first item war axe already.
Oh, Prince can do this. He can. Okay. So I thought he'd just go for the full dive and then commit the late black shoes.
Yeah.
He doesn't play with it anymore. it's really that early death. Haji and Ogun messing up the first minion wave trade in the mid just led to all of this. Every time Ogun gets spotted, it's easy for Brusco, Friends, and or King to just immediately just jump on him because they can take him out really quickly.
And having the Mount Shocker again on the YSS in the gold lane, it really does benefit a team that rolls with that. You can see this though too, concentrated energy already. On King Kong, Brusco.
Oh, Brusco might get taken out here. He's up against
Good
3
pick.
members. And finally, Falcons actually secure a kill for themselves.
Yep.
But at the expense of 2 tier 1 turrets maybe, and possibly even another member. But Kirk gets shut down! Flap goes down too! Does King Kong find another kill here? He's with Super Friends, but Falcons, at least they're tanky enough.
Good response, able to finally trade, get something on the board. They have so much room to cover though. They're still down massively across the board.
Yeah, Violet Requiem defensively there by King Kong. Stops any chase. He's still 4-0 and 5. Falcons finally on the board after the aggressive play of Super Marco in the lane, called Brusco up top. Brusco needed to defend, and Falcons used that moment to just jump on Brusco right away, who did not have Tsunami Slam at the time. They then translated that into good aggression by Flap and Haji in the center, spotting out Kirk, taking him out, and at least they have something, but ONIC still definitely has control.
They want to make a play up here. That's exactly what they want to go for.
Okay, another Tsunami Slam. Better Air Strike as a response from Haji. Can King Kong find a setup here? He's left all alone and actually gets punished. Another shutdown from Falcons. Brusco goes down next. Haji picking up a double is massive.
Yes,
he might just get picked off too. But Kirk gets stopped in his tracks. Flap goes in and he takes down Kirk too. It's a clapback from Falcons. Severo is next, but he fortunately survives.
Is that a clapback or a flapback? Falcons coming out of the gate. The quicksand guard flicker away by Ogun. Bob time and Haji flying away with a wings by wings. Now it's an even game. What a turnaround by Falcons.
They had so much ground to cover, and Team Falcons did it in one team fight. Haji gets away, popping the Purify and the wings by wings, but man, that's exactly what they needed at this point of the game before that Lord comes up.
Super Marco was hella tricky with that BMI in the last sequence. Now he had to commit it, and the Purify as well, as he was spotted out by King Kong, who now has a Queen's Wings. Now, this early on, with an opposing team with the lead, concentrated energy, Queen's Wings, King Guinevere is not a joke. It is so difficult to deal with, and if you overcommit and it still has some resources, some dash away, some blink aways, he'll be able to recover and rejoin the fight, causing a lot of damage. Looking back at the instant replay, this was after the quicksand guard. Kirk is still gonna make it to this one. Super Marco Blazing Duet forces Prince and Severo back. Here comes Kirk. That's why Brusco went there, to drag them a bit closer to Kirk, but it was a great play by Haji to just wings by wings. He didn't even commit the Purify. He didn't need to. Going up against Kirk, Kirk used the flicker, but Haji with just a great escape.
Yeah, it was just a step-by-step response done by Falcons there to the unsuccessful Tsunami Slam committed by Brusco. Because again, King Kong was very reliable, also provided the necessary follow-up, but I feel like the usage of the Feathered Airstrike at the moment made sure that no other member from ONIC could also stand close to where these two setup heroes were. And now we're seeing how the Falcons are gradually crawling back a formerly 4K gold lead, now down to less than 1,000.
Yeah, they had to also allow Kyle to catch up. He's done that. Maybe, I mean, earlier he was down 3 levels, by the way. So he's been able to cover ground just himself. So it puts him in a much better position to actually contest safer in this first Lord than it would have been if they wouldn't have had that massive swing in their favor off that team fight. So now you're going to see ONIC kind of adjust to this. They have to go ahead and respect what Team Falcons is capable of doing. And even Haji, you know, you see him with these feathered airstrikes. He's been able to go ahead and land a couple, and the damage is starting to be there. And that's why I'm saying ONIC has to respect this.
Yeah, the sign right now is Flap might end up being the one of the main trades, as he will be jumping forward towards Super Friends. Let's see if the Black Shoes will be back in time, but ONIC didn't go for the Lord. They decided to go for the turret, meaning that they can get both their ultimates in line back. Super Friends with his Black Shoes, and of course Haji with his own feathered airstrike. Ogun with an advanced position and gets spotted out by by King Kong.
Nope.
Okay, this might be it.
Oh, there's the title strike as a response to the Baxter Shield Unity. Fourth choice Poison's also committed by Falcons already.
And a flicker down from Super Prince. He's still got the black shoes though. Ogwin might wait for the Raging Sandstorm to be back up unless they're forced to actually respond. If ONIC brings this Lord down to a quarter of the health.
Oh no, they're
gonna
bursting
go.
it. Yeah, it's King Kong who actually secures it for ONIC. Now Falcons might want to go for the fight, but it's only Brusco left inside. Could they actually catch him right there?
Oh.
He uses the Tsunami Slam instead, doesn't get stunned by the Land Shaker, and now Kirk trying to jump back in. No one falls from that team fight.
Yeah, and since the Lord is marching out here down bottom, it'll force reactions. King Kong behind enemy lines.
King Kong's there.
They don't have any idea, but he gets caught by the Baxter Shield Unity Haji's on a killing spree.
Oh, he wanted to do something, but that wasn't it.
Yeah, got caught out at the wrong time. Great check by Kyle, or maybe it could have been coincidence. Brusco looking for a play, will not find it. The Lord is still marching down bottom and minion waves up top. Falcons needed to make a call after that trade. They decided to just go ahead for the chase and got the tower down bottom. And again, even better for them because the Lord is down here in the bottom lane as well. Feathered airstrike by Haji, forces back ONIC.
And they'll keep their turret up. Great defense from Team Falcons. They might go for an engage here.
Oh, the Black Shoes are still available for Super Prince. Oh, but Kirk! The response from Kirk! And now Savero trying to deal with the basic attacks. It's a shutdown on Haji! Kirk, could he try to save his team? There's a flicker available. Now 4 members of Falcons will not proceed. Not unless...
They should just disengage here. They got what they could. They still defended against that Lord push. And they held on for what they wanted to. But yeah, ONIC still in control of this game. They've got the advantage in terms of map, objective, and space to work with. They'll go ahead and take some of the buffs from Team Falcons and potentially look to take down the tier 2 turrets now. But still, it's a back and forth, and you can see just how much potential Team Falcons does have if they can get a positioning in their favor. Let's take a look at the items here, though, quick, Renmar.
Yeah, still majority leads for ONIC, although Ogwin, after everything that has happened now, actually has a very slight lead up against Brusco. Gold laners very neck and neck. Already up to a Malefic Roar is Savero, who actually has been very free during majority of these team fights. Kirk found Haji in the mid, and here comes Flap.
Oh, Falcons will go for Kirk.
Ogwin's there, too.
Will be tanky enough to survive, though.
See, I like how they're not over-committing. They know that they still really need to go ahead and respect the potential that ONIC can win a team fight, and if they lose a team fight at the wrong time, they're not going to be able to contest this Lord. Team Falcons taking the slow and steady route, staying disciplined here, allowing Super Marco to continue to farm up. You know, 0-0 and 6 has been playing pretty defensively, as he should against this kind of lineup.
Yeah.
But at some point, especially when he gets to the defensive items that he needs, the Wind of Nature even, he's going to be in an easier position to actually utilize that Blazing Duet. We've seen it a couple times, and like you said, Redmar, part of this is for Flap. He's kind of got to throw himself into this fight. If Ogwin lands a Raging Sandstorm, though, then that's great, and you might see them trying to do it here in the mid lane.
Oh, Kyle.
Already half HP. Oh, the Violet Brickwin makes it in time. Wintercraft play 2 from King Kong! But the setup from Kirk! Catches 3! And now Haji forced to wings by wings out. Ogwin standing in front of everyone, trying to tank the damage. But Savero will find Kyle!
Calculated by Savero. Perfect use of the turtle ship toss. And now ONIC has advantage as the jungler for Falcons is down.
They might just try to delay this, though. They've got the bodies here. Can they stop them from taking it?
Oh, Ogwin and Flap are going in, and so is Super Marco! Look at that Blazing Duet, but it gets cancelled out by the knock-up from Kirk!
Too much damage from ONIC.
Savero found Marco for the kill there, and they'll fight for this Lord. King Kong's still there. Oh, Ogwin flickering out. ONIC, Super Prince will secure the Lord. Man, what a fight.
Right now it's bulletproof Savero. He's 3-0 and 4, still deathless. The formation of ONIC, again, so good. Building around their gold laner, protecting him. Of course, with the Traceless, makes the YSS hard to kill. The Turtle Ship Toss from the Mountain Shocker, dealing damage while also being able to get some good crowd control to create space for himself. Kirk has been on point with the shifting clouds. Everything has just been going well for the Super Fam. Despite the early or the mid-game turnaround by Falcons, ONIC has never really completely lost grasp of this game.
One of those things, though, too. You saw that when Super Marco went in with the Blazing Duet. He doesn't have much of a window. He's got to be so crucial in the timing of getting back with the BMI. But now they have to be on the defense here for this Lord push up top.
Okay, Kirk will find Kyle here. Will they get to burst him down though? Get enough space just to focus on the turret at least. Brusco decides to still go in. Goes for the setup, and now it's open. They decide to burst down. The quick Sandguard saves him though, and Super Marco instead pops the immortality for Brusco.
Okay, no one falls, but a lot of resources gone. Items and battle spells as well, but there's still a lot of flickers on the side of ONIC.
They had to fight tooth and nail for these base turrets though. Even with this lead, it's a little bit it doesn't really paint the picture of just how difficult it is for ONIC to actually push it into the space because of the composition of Team Falcons. Looking at the items, I guess it's a 6K deficit that Team Falcons have. But there's a Malefic gun now picked up for Super Marco. He had the Wind of Nature earlier on. Some of these other items too, the defensive ones especially, are going to be important for Team Falcons.
Oh, look at that. It's a 4 protect 1 lineup.
Yep.
Severo is the king right now for ONIC PH. As there is a 12,000 gold count on him already. That's how much money he's been able to get without a lot of contention. Again, he is still deathless. And as tough as base sieges are for ONIC, it's equally tough for Falcons to try and turn things around. They're playing around the composition that is meant to just set things up for the Blood to finish things in team fights, but he can't.
Yeah.
The burst is not enough from the side of Falcons to really put ONIC in a dangerous situation.
Yeah, and this is a lineup that a Claude does not like to go up against usually because of the amount of ways that they could just cancel out the Blazing Duet as they please. You either have to avoid the spatial migration or the knockups from Kirk, and even Brusco, because his ultimate is basically a knockup, or just simply using the Tidal Strike even. Like, every single time you go in, there are just multiple ways for ONIC to deny you of the Blazing Duet.
Now, Team Falcons might just find themselves in a position to actually contest this lore for the first time. Previous one, they already had that Kyle went down before they could even go for it. So now they're in this position where they can actually go toe-to-toe here with ONIC. Despite being down this much gold, there's still potential there for them to make this happen. Kirk's going to be able to spot out Ogwin, though, so he can't go on that off angle that you're so used to seeing Khalid's take. Especially the way that they're posted up defensively around this brush.
Yeah, tough thing is if Falcons lose this fight, they lose the game. If they lose this Lord, then they might just lose during the siege. At some point, they might just actually have to force and try something. But ONIC is playing defense on this Lord so well. Falcons might have to settle for giving this, but they won't.
They're so fast. King Kong secures the objective. Better airstrike from Haji, but ONIC do not want to fight.
I like how ONIC called that too. They secure the Lord, they reset, they get ready to approach the base here. A good attempt from Kyle, but a great body block and usage from Kirk on the Sora to stop him even getting in range to get the retribution off.
Yeah, Kirk has been stellar in this game. Despite everything that the roam mid trio for ONIC, what they have done, you also have to give it to the side laner. Severo has done his job. Kirk has done his job. Everything has gone well for the super fan. Now, can the Falcons defend?
They conceal play. Okay, they're not gonna go for the full commit just yet. Falcons get to clear the last minion in the mid, but that does not stop the Lord from marching in. King Kong jumps and finds the stuns on Kyle. The frees from Severo are really starting to hurt for Falcons, but King Kong gets traded out. Now it's Flap who they potentially could go for next. So tanky is Kirk, but he will not stand for long. Falcons are still trying to defend.
Oh, Brusco, he still got away, but Ogwin is giving the chase.
Okay, he's giving the chase, but I don't think he's going to be able to catch them. He does have a flicker, but no team to follow through. He doesn't want to risk it. They already successfully defended against that Lord. They lost their base turret, the last one standing, but they're still in this game, reaching the 20-minute mark. Team Falcons now goes down the mid lane, popping the conceal.
Look at that, a conceal play plus the fettered airstrike just to somehow even out the map. Oh, but Brusco wants to go for the kill of Super Marco. Had the immortality either way, but that was a close call.
Yeah, it's the Purify. Super Marco left Dexter in the shrub where Severo and Super Prince just came through. Super Princess Lilia has been one of the biggest problems for Falcons in team fights because Kyle, Flap, and Ogwin just eat everything up. And even every time Super Marco goes in, again, sorry to sound like a broken record, but he just gets so much damage every time he enters. He can't maximize the blazing duet. It'll get cancelled out somehow with a quick little knock-up, or because he takes so much damage, he's forced to go back, which begs the question, whatever happened to the Claude Winter crowns from M7?
Oh, it's back to the Wind of Natures.
Yeah, it's a Wind of Natures, it's the Purifies. I miss the Claude Winter crowns from back then.
Well, maybe you'll see him switch it in, out later on, but right now he needs that Wind of Nature just because of the potential threat. This might be one too. Conceal used by ONIC just to force Team Falcons back. This evolved Lord, though, is going to come down to a... It's got to be tactical from Team Falcons.
Yeah. And this is a good tendency read by ONIC, because Ogwen and Super Marco frequently do this. If there's a lane where they can push opposite side the Lord, they'll clear that, then come through the river to the mid lane, and then join the Lord fight there if ever ONIC posted there. So what ONIC does is they block the point where Falcons could pass through after clearing the minion waves in the bottom lane.
Okay, so they get back in position. ONIC responds down, clearing at that bottom. Again, their advantage is that all the base turrets of Team Falcons are down, so those waves will be pushing in, and someone's going to have to deal with that, depending on how they play this fight out.
No.
So, Ogwen coming in with Conceal.
Gonna spot Ogwen. Flap goes into with the Bravest Spider, but he gets knocked up by the spatial migration. Black Shoes already forced out of Super Fritz. Now he won't be joining the fight! Super Marco tries to finish off the kill with the Winter Crown, makes it in time! Super Fritz goes down in the hands of Flap, but does Ogwen and Flap survive this response by ONIC? Immortalities pop here and there, and Savero's unstoppable!
Super Fritz brought so much time for that fight, and now they're still going.
Another immortality popped. Flap does not get away. A knockup. Kyle is the next target, but Kirk, he had his eyes set on the members in the backline all along. Super Marco won't live. Haji's next. A godlike performance from Savero, and he takes another double. King Kong puts an end to game number 1.
ONIC Philippines! It's Bulletproof Savero 804! The Kirkitect is back with an impactful performance! And Super Fam saying that our win earlier this week was not a fluke. Falcons did not look like Falcons!
I am the pressure.
I am the pressure.
8-0-4, is that what he was? I mean,
all I know he was 0 deaths.
Oh,
that's
my
all that mattered to
goodness.
me.
And again, that fight that broke out, and Super Fritz, I don't know if everybody caught that, but the amount of time he was able to buy with the immortality, well, first the Black Shoes, then the immortality, and then a Winter Crown, I believe, allowed them to actually basically come out on top with the win there because of what was all expended to try to get Super Fritz. It was a good attempt from Ogwen. He actually tried to lock him down, go with him with a Raging Sandstorm, but then great fighting decisions from ONIC here. And just capitalizing on, they could have went for the Lord, but they're like, you know what, let's just go for the kills. Let's just end this here. And ONIC Philippines, man, it's looking a different shade of the Super Fam, but it still is them, man. They still look great.
Yeah, it's so calculated, but then they explode and suddenly show up at the right time. Kirk, especially here, I'm incredibly impressed with his performance. It felt like there would be times he's initiating, and then suddenly, if the fight drags on long enough, you see him after initiation going back to protect Sprints and Savero. So Savero, it goes deathless. There's always someone going in the back line protecting, and of course he'll get the game MVP.
Hey, that's another thing, because previously they won and their EXP was Ryota. And this is a different version yet again, where they put in Kirk in the starting 5, and the way he performed on this Sora.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's a statement for the opposing teams that are going to be going against ONIC and any of the teams that are showcasing different versions or iterations of their lineup and what they're able to do and still have this kind of performance. Whether it was Ryota on day 1 or you have Kirk here playing for day 3. This is a damn good looking ONIC Philippines, man. And it's still the same. It's like Savero's still getting the YSS in the gold lane. He's one of the better ones so far, at least through this week 1, to perform on this Yi Sun Shin in the gold lane. And there isn't really much of an answer that has been to get rid of him. And the thing is, the ability to be able to use that Mountain Shocker from the start of the game all the way to the end actually really plays a big role in why ONIC is able to move around the map the way they do, as we see here through the highlights.
Yeah. It really feels like after the start that Falcons had, they were rattled. They did recover. Again, it went from 4,000 to like around 1,000.
Yeah.
But then, this is what Rob was talking about in the draft, and no, I'm not saying they should not have picked the Lapu-Lapu. That is still a really good option, and the theory is sound. You need someone to force things out of ONIC. You force Black Shoes, you force Flickers, you force Purifies. But then look at each kit for the heroes of ONIC. If you're trying to take down Severo, you'll force out the Traceless, but then that space created. He has another thing to create space. The stun from the Mountain Shocker.
Yep.
You force out the Black Shoes, Prince will have Flicker. If it's late into the game, he'll also have Immortality. What then happens to the bravest fighter that you use to try and bring people out and bring them low? The lineup of ONIC can extend team fights. Falcons, they can extend the team fight, but only if the members of ONIC were brought down low enough and Super Marco didn't take a lot of damage. Biggest problem is also Super Marco always took damage just because of the lineup that he was up against. So it was one of those scenarios wherein they built a lineup that has a sound theory, but it's the hardest road possible to succeed.
Sometimes, you know, you go down that traveled path of difficulty.
Is it that his TED Talk?
Are we in your TED Talk?
Are we hearing our TED Talk
Or
right
are you
now?
workshopping for your next talk?
My next talk. But no, you're right. Like, and sometimes it depends on the execution factor too, because I think it's the same thing. Like, both these drafts, they were great. I will say they were good. But the problem with Team Falcons is they just didn't have the start.